Hey everyone, we're going to look at something interesting today. So what we've got here is my Avalanche, which has a $300+ cold air intake installed apparently. And we have my 2001 Suburban with the factory intake. And what I've got here is a cheapie bought on Amazon Black Friday for I think about $40 cold air intake. So there's a lot of speculation on what the value is in spending $300-something on a cold air intake when you can buy one of these usually for 50 or 60 bucks or less if you get it on Black Friday clearance. So I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in the Suburban. Supposedly they're good for 10-15 horsepower. We'll see. You know, I mean, if you think about it, it's a pipe, an air filter, some clamps, and some duct work. Is that worth $50 or is it worth $350? That's a good question. I didn't put this one in the Avalanche. It was in there when I got it. So I've never actually done one of these. But as I always say, don't be intimidated. Go out, get busy. Let's see how much work this is. It can't be that difficult. I probably have the tools to do it. So let's see how it goes. Okay, first step, which I shudder to do because it means I'm gonna end up screwing with that aftermarket stereo. But first step, disconnect the battery negative terminal. I don't know how important this is really. Maybe it causes the computer to reset with the new intake, but is what it is. Radio will need to be reset, so glad I found the manual to it because it's not easy. All right, next step. I'm gonna take the clamp off here. This flathead screwdriver. Next step after that, you gotta take the clamps off the mass airflow sensor. There's two of these, one on each side, I guess. You gotta take these off too, as far as I know. This gotta come off. Where is the clip on that? Okay, you don't need a screwdriver, just squeeze, pull out. I gotta take these out. How many screws we got? That is a big Phillips, which also fits a flathead. Now, let me get my metal magnetic thing for the screws. I love these things. Magnetic, you're not gonna lose your screws. Even if it falls over, it'll hold the screws. That one doesn't want to come out. These are rusty. never hurts to have all sorts of oddball tools. This is a very big AC Delco. That screw is not going to come out. It's going to give me trouble. So all the ones that are easy to get at come right out. But the one that's hard to get at is completely rusted and is probably going to strip no matter what I do. It will not move. You don't know what's holding it in there. These things are just in fell back. It's always got to be one problem. Alright, this is going to take a bit. So what's going on is you got 4 screws, and there's one right there that just doesn't want to go anywhere. It is very rusty, very much stripped, and it doesn't want to come out. I'm trying to get a good angle on it. Let me put the phone down. We're only about 6 minutes in so far, so far it's pretty easy. Okay, in the continuing saga, tried to drill it out. I got my Dremel tool out because I can get in there better with it. It's so weird. I mean, there's really nothing to hold these things in, but this guy's not moving. I gotta wonder if when I changed the K&N, put a K&N filter in this thing years ago, if I just left it. Like, couldn't get the screw out then either. But I drilled it out a bit. I'm gonna try to drill it out some more. Maybe, you know, maybe I'll get it out. But as I say, it's just a 5-minute job. It's just one screw away from becoming a 5-hour job. Won't take 5 hours, but it'll take me another 5 or 10 minutes to get this guy out. It's part of the process of dealing with a vehicle from up north. So. I won't subject you to that. It sounds like a dentist drill. Well, difficult to say if it was the vibrations from the Dremel or the drilling. My guess is the vibrations finally knocked it through. I tried tapping it with a hammer. I put penetrating oil on it. Did not want to come out, but we've got it. All right, the screw didn't break. That's good. So if I ever want to put it back, I've got it. All right, let's go on to the next steps. All right, let me get some of this junk out of the way. I think what we do next, we gotta take this guy up and out of the way. Out of the way. That kind of distracted me there. The belief is that this thing should just pull out, and it does. And put that I don't know what that big thing is down there, but I don't really know these things that well. All right. Well, we'd be at the 5-minute point if I hadn't gotten that screw stuck. Now, this is probably a Spectre filter. Yep, it's a Spectre. Those that don't know and want the easy route for one of these, a Spectre is pretty much just as good as a K&N. This is actually in great shape. I changed this not too long ago. So I highly recommend don't spend the extra money on a K&N. Just buy a Spectre. It's the same thing. You can clean it the same way. They're high flow. They're good for a few horsepower. I noticed it when I put this in the Suburban. I could tell over the factory breather. But now we're going to see something completely different. So let's move on. So I think we got to take this thing out. I think. I don't see how it comes. It looks like it just clips in there. It says there's a clip there. Yeah, it looks like these are just popped in from underneath, of course, so they're difficult to get to. But let's see. Let me get a pair of pliers. Work on that next. So, unlike what there are plastic clips in here that held this on. So, there's the bolts we got to attach the new one to. Let me show you. So, unlike a lot of vehicles, this had these plastic clips. I really should be wearing gloves to hold it in. So I think I got to loosen these screws. Let me get to that next. Or those bolts, rather. Okay. So you gotta love when you buy the cheap intakes. Ignore these 3 washers. I added these. They weren't in the nuts and bolts provided. But you gotta love it. They don't really tell you how to assemble this thing. So I think I've got it. Because these bolts lined up, so that would be these 3. Of course, it could go on the other side. This is the deadening, the vibration suppressor. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with it. I honestly don't. I guess it bolts to something in there. I know that the air intake fits into this. So my guess, we got 2 bolts and a bolt. So, my guess is this. Let's see if the bolts line up. I'm not sure what this foam is doing here, but yeah. Okay, so those 2 line up, which would mean there should be a bolt hole there, and there is. So what's this thing do? I don't know. That must bolt to something else. So that's how that goes. I guess I gotta use these. I'm gonna put some oil on them. Use them to put this thing back in. Is it really wide open down there? This one isn't. No, this is, you know, K&N versus made in China. So I gotta expect that my air filter is gonna get quite dirty with... Geez, that's weird with that thing wide open like that. I wonder if you're supposed to put the metal plate back in. Sure seems like you would. In this one, the metal plate is back in. All right. Well, I'm gonna probably make an executive decision and put that metal plate back in. It doesn't tell you to do that in the limited directions. It just says take it out and use 3 of the bolts to bolt this in. I mean, sure, it would pull a lot more air that way. But I don't know if that's what it's supposed to do. That just seems odd. But let me think on it some more. I'll be back. Okay, I looked it up on their website, and they say basically don't put it back. I'm putting it back. It's like that way on my Avalanche. It just seems crazy. It's gonna get enough air. There's this, there's space there. It's gonna get enough air. So I'm putting it back. But you know what I think I will do? I think I'll paint this. I think I'll clean it up and paint it since it's starting to get rusty. So let me do that real quick. Okay, that's all painted. I used rust reformer. I will next hit it with high heat, and while that dries, I'm gonna put on the rest of the intake. So far, it has not rained yet. I see a little bit of blue sky. Not ideal painting weather, so this is gonna take a bit to dry. Well, I got a new visitor. I swear I have never seen so many cats. Primer's good. Just putting a second coat of paint on this on the underside part. The sun's coming out. Well, that's a good sign. Maybe it'll dry a little faster. This is an unexpected step, so I'm taking this opportunity to kind of figure out the rest of this box, because the directions don't really tell you much. They give you a picture of it and say, go have fun. So I'll figure it out. So while that paint dries, I'll get back to figuring this thing out. Fortunately, and the reason why I took this on is I get to look at the avalanche and kind of gauge how it goes. Right now, I'm wondering, so there's the mass air sensor right up against this. I was wondering how that fit in. This has a top, the other one does not, it just slides in a rubber gasket. Makes sense though. This does not have the insulator, but this pipe is also not metal. That looks right. This is all one piece, whereas this Chinese low dollar one is metal and rubber. So I got this piece left to put on, and then the mass airflow sensor. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, the great puzzle. These are the pieces I have left. I know what two of these go on. This goes inside the box. I don't know. I know that goes like that. This goes on the other end to the mass airflow with two clamps. Okay, let me do that next. Okay, I gotta take a minute and disconnect the mass airflow from the old unit. There. Now that's big. It's really big for that. That's too big for that. Huh. I don't know. So, I know a mass airflow goes up there. This rubber piece looks very big. I don't know if you can see that for this. In spite of hose clamps, it just looks too big. It fits on there, I'm sure. Let me see what they did here. Well, I know that's for that. Does this fit around that? It doesn't appear to. But this does fit in here. Oh, yeah. Some directions would be nice. Okay. Let me get the base in there while I'm sitting there thinking, oh, the paint should be dry enough for me to do it. Sure, I'll get some all over my hands, but that's okay. Get this thing about lined up. Put some oil on the best of these bolts. I'll just oil up all of these because I'm not really sure which I'm using, actually. But I want them to go in easy, and I want them to come back out easy. Because we're hoping this is going to work. Alright, let me get the metal box. Is it dry? No. Is it dry enough? Sure. Because I don't really need to touch it very much. So, I'll line these holes up, hopefully. Goes there. Interesting, interesting. I'm seeing a slight problem. Because the way they've got these holes set, these don't seem to fit. That's definitely how it went in. Well, I may have painted this for nothing, because it looks to me like they fully don't intend on you putting it back in, because the holes, the wall of this thing is in the way. Yeah. That wall is in the way. Guess I should have checked that. Don't know what I was thinking. I guess that's true. I guess they don't plan on you putting it back. It appears they do not want that plate in there. I guess. So. It does not line up with it. So, we'll do it without it. This is where a handy picture that explains something would have been nice. It just said, do, or even, you know, just saying, put it in. Put the plate back in, or don't. It says nothing. We'll see how this works. To me, it seems crazy to have that thing that exposed. No idea what you guys are seeing. Let me move the camera so you can see what I'm doing in here. So what I'm talking about is this. They're leaving it completely open, right down to the road. And I tried to put the metal box back because in the avalanche it's there. I'm no expert in these, but the way they've got this plate set up, it specifically prohibits you from putting that metal plate back down there. Now sure, it's gonna pull more air this way, supposedly. But is it necessary to pull that much air? I don't think so. So here's my last question. These are the last pieces. I know this thing goes in here. That's pretty obvious. I don't know how this piece goes in. Does it go in here? It almost looks like it fits in there. There's literally no explanation, and you can't see it in the picture, but that looks like that does that. that would make sense, I guess. Which would mean the mass airflow would go in on this and fit around that. Oh, that would be nice if this is working. So maybe the mass airflow does that. As I scratch my paint. Yep, okay. Oh, we're getting somewhere now. Mass airflow's on that. This clamp, giant clamp, is to hold this onto that. Let me tighten this guy up. I don't know if they had to make the clamp quite this big. But maybe they wanted me to take 20 minutes to tighten it. Should just be using my drill for these. Be fun to take it for its first drive with this thing. They say it's good for 10 to 20 horses. They say it's also a lot louder, which I don't really care about that. My Avalanche, when you give it gas, you can hear it. It does make a lot more noise. Okay. I got the mass airflow in the right place. Sorry if you guys aren't really seeing much. Back the camera up. I think I've got this figured out, which piece goes where. Now we're down to this piece, which I believe really fits loose on that. I don't like that. I don't know why that is. I believe that's it. I believe that's how it goes. Let me get that out of the way for now. Get these two clamps on. And this piece, I believe, has to go over that, which makes sense, and it's the right size for this, but it's way too big to go on the back of the mass airflow sensor. We'll see how effective these clamps are. Now this piece, how exactly does it fit in here? That goes down there. I see that. Okay, this is actually how it fits. As crooked and weird as this looks. I'm just putting the last clamp on now. So is it pretty? No, not at all. Is it precise? It is made in China, precise. So no. Does it connect? Yes. Will the hood close? Oh, I didn't get the insulating part on. If I can do that. I mean, really, everything on this is so imprecise. I mean, it's tight, not going anywhere. So what you can't see is there's a sound insulating bracket under here that I'm trying to Alright. Well, that's it. It's not pretty. It's in. It looks hypo. Yes. But when you look at fit and finish about how this tucks in here, I mean, there's really nothing. It doesn't move, but I don't even know what this bracket's for. It's totally in the way. There's nothing on the other side for it to bolt to. It's just there. They didn't give any extra pieces for it, so obviously it's a generic pipe that's used for other things. You look at this as a nice box that it ties right into for the mass airflow. It fits in here right. It's wider, it's bigger. It's tight. That's fine. Looks like that's specifically cut right around the fan shroud, whereas this one's pushing right up against it. But $350 to $400, I guess. Amazon Black Friday, $30, normally $50. We'll see. Proof is in the performance. Let me put everything away, back the Avalanche out of the way, and see what it does. Hopefully I don't get check engine lights for mass airflow. We'll see. Okay, everything's put away. Battery's hooked up. It's pretty sloppy looking. I'm thinking maybe I could have reused that piece instead of the piece they gave me. Because the piece they gave me was the problem. It just didn't fit anything. Let's see what happens. Oh, starts fine. This is the problem, watch the radio. It's gonna change colors on me, all this nonsense. I'm gonna have to get the manual out again to kind of figure out how to do it. All right, well, let's see what it does. Seems to be idling lower than normal. Whoa. It's really idling low. Feels about the same. We'll see here after this, geez, after this funeral procession goes by. Okay, well the idle's back to normal. So the computer needed to figure that out. Looks like it did. The nearly stalling idle is gone. It's a good sign. No check engine lights, very good sign. Those are not blinking like that. That's got to be a frame rate issue. The transmission shift indicator is not blinking. It just looks like it on camera. Whoa, this is a long procession. I guess I'll be fast forwarding through this. Okay, looks like here comes the end. Okay, let's go. I'll just go this way. We're never gonna get through. But I'll be able to see how fast it is anyway. Yeah, there's a little bit of a performance gain. It runs fine. My biggest fear was that something was going to be wrong in how it ran, but it seems to be running fine. Still a little suspicious about that box being wide open in the bottom, but I'm going to just turn it around up here and then go back. I don't have anywhere to go yet today. Gas one more time and see what it does. Whew, that idle is low. I thought it kind of settled it up, but it's still low. Not as low. Maybe it'll eventually figure it out. I guess one would say that means it's working. It's supposed to give you improved fuel economy and more horsepower. Anyone that owns one of these knows more fuel economy is a good thing. More horsepower is a great thing. All right, here we go. I'll take a right here, give it a shot and see what it does. little more powerful. I wouldn't give it a 20 horse increase. I give it a 5 to 10. You know, it's a 205,000 mile or so engine. All right, so success. Back from the test drive, and well, what did we learn? Well, we learned that a $30 to $50 cold air intake doesn't screw your car up. It seems to work. No check engine lights on. Seems to be a little more powerful. Was it worth doing? I don't know. Maybe. Tough to say. I know that's not really very conclusive, but that's about the best I can say on a 2-minute drive. Next time I take it on the highway, maybe I'll be able to tell. But for the money, if it actually does give me that extra boost in fuel economy and horsepower, it's worth it. Should you pay $350 for one? If you want it to be a little easier to go in and look a little cleaner, sure. If your vehicle is 22 years old with over 200,000 miles on it, I would go for the $30 to $50 cheapie and just wrestle with it for a bit. But I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you kind of learned a little bit about how to put it in. I know it was a struggle and I didn't know what I was doing, obviously. And don't expect the directions to help you on these. They give you a few pictures and say, this is what it should look like when it's in. And that's about it. So good luck to you if you take this on. As I said, I don't know if it was worthwhile, but maybe. Seems to be. Seems to be. But if nothing else, it got me outside, got me busy, kept me occupied for a while, and hopefully in the long run, it'll be worth it. Take care, everyone.